Hello and welcome to the Professional Book Nerds podcast brought to you by Libby. My name is Joe and I'm so happy you're here. Before we dive into today's episode of the podcast, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you do your listening. Those reviews and ratings really help push the show to more listeners just like you who would love to find our book recommendations and chats. So consider leaving a comment on Spotify or leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It would really help us out. Also, if you want video, you can enjoy the video version of this show on Spotify or head over to YouTube and go to the Libby app YouTube channel. It will be linked in the show notes. And you can see what outfit I've got on. If there's a fun pattern on the shirt, what's happening. Check out my background, check out the backdrop, and you'll be able to see us and the book jackets on screen while we give our recommendations. So lots of fun stuff there. Make sure you subscribe to the Libby app YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know your favorite books that we brought up today. All those good, now that I have to say the YouTubery things as well, all those good YouTube engagement pieces. Okay, before we dive in, I think that's everything. This is my intro before my guest gets here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. We're rebranding. I try to bring it up every episode so far this year, but June will be the relaunch of the show where you will see new branding, a new name, a new logo, a new format, so many cool things coming. So, just a reminder, there's an episode from December 19th you can go back to and check out to see what's coming in the future. But a quick recap here. We are rebranding the show. We'll be changing the name and the logo. You'll be able to see that soon. We've only got like a month and a half left. You'll be able to enjoy the new show style. You won't have to go anywhere else. We are going to just change everything here in the existing platform. You don't have to subscribe to anything new or unfollow and follow and all that. It will just be right where you want it. So to make sure you're staying up to date on everything, make sure you're following at Pro Book Nerds on Instagram and at libby.app on Instagram. All of our updates will be happening there as well as here on the show. So again, you'll see a logo change, you'll see a name change, and then things will get up and running. Season 1 will be dropping toward the end of June, and I'm so excited to share it all with you. Once that happens, we'll have 10 episodes in a season, so we'll do week after week where you'll see a different topic and a different group of folks coming in to chat. And then you'll still get episodes like this where it's monthly book picks and book recommendations on popular releases every month outside of the season. So there will always be content like we've been doing it at the beginning of this year coming out. It will just be rebranded to match. It's, that weird flux while we figure it out. But I'm so excited to be almost there sharing all of this with you. I wish I had more to tease you with, but just know I'm really proud of how this is coming together and I can't wait for you all to see it. So with all of that said, thank you for indulging me on a little pre-show rant. Uh, Stay tuned. You'll see it soon. And now let's dive into this episode. My guest today is Rachel. She is one of our managers here on the marketing team. She is an avid reader. She is a mom. She does so many amazing things. If you have seen some really cool North American public library marketing, her and her team are likely responsible for it. She is amazing. I will let her introduce herself in just a moment here. But we will be coming together to do all of our favorite books that we are adding to our TBR coming out in this May. So welcome to May Book Picks. All right, so today we are going to dive into the books releasing in May. One of our favorite styles of episodes every month. Our May book picks are here. And joining me is my wonderful coworker, Rachel. Rachel is the manager of the North American Public Library marketing team here. So if you've seen any of the amazing programs and flyers and things on the Resource Center and initiatives, it's very likely that her or someone on her team are the masterminds behind it. Rachel, welcome.
Thank you, Joe. I am so excited to be here to talk about one of my favorite things to do, read, and the new books that are coming out. So thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Get comfy, be ready, have a great old time. You know it's easy peasy here. What do you do at Overdrive? I know I gave like the overview, but we all do. So we all wear so many hats.
Completely. And you gave such a good overview. I don't
Thanks.
think I could do better. No, I help all of our public libraries in North America with all of their marketing needs to spread the great word about Libby and Canopy and all the good things we've got going on.
And you're a busy mom.
I
You have three?
three. I
Three.
know. It's crazy. I can't even
One
believe
who
it
is
myself.
right, and one who is, like, fresh and new, like, very, very small,
Yes. Yes,
and you still find time to read so many
I do.
you're always reading, and I love that, and the people need to know, like, Rachel always has a book going. Like
Totally. Totally, I do, and, I listen a lot more than I do read at this point because it's like, I can fold or take care of the kids or make dinner while I'm reading or listening, so
Yeah.
it's my way to, like, sneak my books in.
You can always find a way to keep reading, even if
Yes.
it's, like, one AirPod as you're as you're doing bedtime,
I
whatever it
know,
has
I
to
know.
be.
I'm like, "Kids, be quiet, I'm at a good part, come on."
You mommy needs 5 more minutes,
Yeah,
please.
5 more. Exactly.
Well, I'm glad to have a fellow voracious audiobook reader
Love
with
it.
me today, and I'm excited to see what you've picked because I know this is a fun one to do, but it's also like it's a weird request to just be like, just look at what's coming and see what you'd be wanting to add to your TBR. Like,
I
how did
know.
it feel to go and dig up some titles?
Well, it was kinda hard, Joe, I'm not gonna lie, because it's like, I have read so many good titles in the past, like, 2 months. I was like, "Well, I wanna talk about those," you know? But then I'm
I
like,
know.
"Okay, well, what's coming?" And I started looking through it, and I was like, "This is really hard because there's so many to choose from."
Yeah.
And, like, my core genre is, like, give me your, like, recipe romance, like, I want, like, that all the time.
Formulaic,
Yeah,
happy to
formula
go.
oh my god, totally.
Yeah.
So, I was like, "Oh my god, there's so many coming out." Like, it's so hard to choose. So, it
Yeah.
was hard, I have to say that, but, now my TBR is, like, completely full.
Which is a wonderful gift to get after recording, but also
Wow.
like, "Oh, no, what do I do?" You bring up a great point. I don't know what's happening in May, but my list is insane.
It's crazy.
I've done a lot of these over the last 3
Yeah,
years, and I rarely can't, pick I can't, like, kill my faves kinda thing. I can
yeah,
very often be like, "Okay, the limit is 10, the limit is 8, whatever, like, get to that." You
yep,
have 8 titles, I have 9, and then I have a fat list of books that I was like, "These are all very similar, and I
yeah.
feel the need to mention them, but I can't just, like, let them go." So, listeners, you get a strange different treat from me today. After we get through our list, we'll be reading full descriptions. You're going to get a shout out section from me where I rapid fire through some books that I am additionally excited for. Most of them are very similar because they're kind of like on theme for what's, later in the year. But oh boy, this was a tough one.
It was, and I think it's, like, beginning of summer, you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
so many people read more over the summer,
Yep.
vacation or time off, and I feel like it's a great prep for that, so
And
perfect timing.
as like a YA reader, of course, that's like half of my list in the bonus section was just like, "Oh, we're getting ready for summer reading. No wonder I can't actually pick." It's like,
Yeah.
"You are getting my full. This is what I will be reading for the next an indeterminate future."
Yeah, yeah, you're like, "I'm set for the year."
I'm pretty
I
set.
mean, there's a lot there, Joe.
I know. I'm afraid.
I love it.
Well, I am going to dive in with my first pick. This actually comes to me by way of our dear friend Jill, one of
Ooh.
the founding members of this podcast. This is a book from one of her friends. She was like, I know you're going to like this. Check it out. So, this is The Art of Exile by Andrea Max. This will be out on May 13th. Unlike the high achieving members of her family's secret society, Ada Castle has mastered nothing but the art of falling for the wrong guys. But now she has finally the chance to prove her worth. She just needs to gain access to a hidden school that her family has been trying to locate for generations. Granted, she accidentally goes on a date with the recruiter first, then is temporarily abducted, but Ada manages to secure herself an invitation to the Genesis Institute, where descendants of exiled Renaissance masters practice long lost arts and sciences. The school is a utopia of sustainable technology, medieval advancements, and myths come to life, yet they are unjustly hoarding their resources. Ada goes undercover to steal their innovations for the rest of the world, but Genesis nurtures her creativity, challenges her views, and she can't help but fall for the school, and maybe also for her frustratingly off limits recruiter turned mentor. Ada's tangle of lies start to unravel when one of her new friends goes missing. To rescue her, Ada is forced to work with a dangerous and dangerously hot classmate whose suspicions threaten her cover. And when the information she shared with her family puts her missing friend and all of Genesis in peril, she'll have to choose whom to betray, the family she loves or the school that has helped her find herself. So, again, that is The Art of Exile by Andrea Max, out May 13th.
That sounds amazing. And the cover, the
The cover.
fire and ice, like it
Right?
it's
It's like the
spot on.
sun and the moon reflected in the water, like, everything about it is so good. We usually see dark academia, and I know that's what, like, Jill usually would pull. I know that's a lot
Sure.
of what I like to pull, but this is
Yeah.
more the, like, light academia, so
Yep.
it is set in a school. It's not dark and brooding mysterious, but it's just that, like, it's like a different strain of chosen family almost. So
Yeah.
I'm very interested in checking this one out and seeing how the fantasy romance in this plays out.
Yes, I love it. And I love the romance aspect of it too. Like it's just like a cherry on top for me.
Right, little extra treat to
Yes.
sweeten the deal.
Yes.
Well, what about your first pick, Rachel? Are you ready?
I am ready. So my first pick is The Tenant by Frida McFadden. This title will come out on May 6th. And I love a Frida book. I do. I can't help it.
Oh, I love a Frida McFadden book. Like I have to be careful with how I talk about them because but like I love them. They are
I do.
you get exactly what you expect. And that's like the nicest way I can say it. Like,
Yes, exactly what you expect. But there's
uh-huh.
always like a little twist at the end, like, oh, I
Yes.
wasn't expecting that. And it's like
Yes.
you
And
find the most,
even if you were expecting it or you were expecting a twist like that, she
yeah,
finds a way to stamp it. Like not all of them are
totally.
winners. I won't be
I
100%
agree.
nice. Not all of them are winners.
I agree.
There are some stinkers in there, but
I
when
agree.
they hit truly I describe any of them as a lifetime movie. It's the lifetime movie where it's like the killer neighbor next door or the deranged teacher, like whatever. And there's something about that I want to eat it up. It's the formula.
Yes, exactly. And like it's you can go back to it and it's comfortable. And a lifetime movie is the perfect way to describe it, Joe. I love it. So the tenant is Blake Porter is riding high until he's not. Fired abruptly from his job as the VP of marketing and unable to make the mortgage payments on the new brownstone he shares with his fiancee, he's desperate to make ends meet. After Whitney, beautiful, charming, and down to earth, and looking for a room to rent, she's exactly what Blake's looking for. Or is she? Of course, Frida line there. Um, because something isn't quite right. The neighbors start treating Blake differently. The smell of decay permeates his home no matter how hard he scrubs. Strange noises jar him awake in the middle of the night. And soon, Blake fears someone knows his darkest secrets. Danger lives right at home, and by the time Blake realizes it, it's too late. The trap is already set. So it's definitely the fiance because she's like so random, right?
Uh-huh.
Like,
Right.
like
Right.
it's just, the most random character I feel like in the book is always like
It's
behind something.
it's either going to be the fiance
Yeah,
or this is going to be like a Psycho read-alike where the fiance has never been alive and no one ever actually meets her and
right.
he's the killer. So
Yes. Yeah, yeah, there you go.
I mean, there's two paths, and like even the covers are formulaic. Like
Yes.
I mean, we love the millennial pink with the mysterious manicured hand. Like I have nothing bad to say because I need it. Like that's the kind of break you need every once in a
Yes.
while. And there's nothing wrong. There's only good when it comes to like a book like this.
Totally, totally. Like it's just like a familiar blanket almost. Like you know
Yes.
what to expect and it's interesting and it's fun and it keeps you engaged and it's a quick read.
She's popular for a reason and
Totally.
truly well deserved. I mean, love it. Oof, so good. So my first couple picks, I have some structure to my list today. Oh, imagine that. My first few picks are YA, and then I will move into my adult titles. This is Death in the Cards by Mia P. Manasala. This is a YA mystery thriller. Cover caught me right away because, of course, she's got her crystals and her iced coffee and her tarot cards right on the cover. It's the young adult debut from the award-winning author of Arsenic and Adobo, which we've talked about on the show in when we did some of our cozy episodes in the past. Brilliant kind of like cozy food series. When a high school tarot reader's latest client goes missing after a troubling reading, she must apply everything she's learned from her private investigator mother to solve a case of her own. So, no joke that I'm excited to dive into a cozy for teens because I want to see how they're doing this. But anyway, Danica Deason is a natural problem solver. Thanks to her private investigator mom and mystery author dad, she's equipped with skills to offer guidance to her anxious classmates who come to her for a tarot reading between classes, for a price, of course. But when one of her clients vanishes shortly after they're dealt a death card, the girl's younger sister Gabby begs Danica to figure out what went wrong. Danica takes on the case, thinking it's the perfect way to prove to her parents that she should be an official investigator in the family's detective agency. What starts off as a compelling challenge quickly devolves into something darker as Danica and Gabby peel back layer after layer of the secret life of the missing girl that she's been living. Like, who doesn't what? Okay, everything there I love. A life that those involved would do anything to keep from being revealed. I
I
mean,
love it.
right?
Come on.
Who doesn't love the like secret life of a teenager? What I love about this, since it's coming from like a cozy perspective, is it could truly be nothing, or it could be like pretty little liar layers of
Totally.
secret life.
Totally. And then you add like the tarot card aspect to it on top of it.
Yes.
Like it's amazing. It's perfect.
Everything about this is so good. So again, y'all, that is Death in the Cards by Mia P. Manasala, out May 13th. I think that's one of the hot pub days of the month.
Definitely. All right. Next on my list, I have Love Haters by Catherine Senner. Now, this comes out May 20th. And this is about Katie Vaughn, who's been burned by love in the past. Now she may be lighting her career on fire. She's got two choices: wait to get laid off from her job as a video producer, or at her coworker's Cole's request, take a career making gig profiling Tom Hutchinson, a Coast Guard rescue swimmer in Key West. The catch? Katie's not exactly qualified. She can't swim, but pretend she can. Plus, Cole and Hutch are brothers, and they don't get along. Next up, Paradise. But Paradise is messier than it seems. As Katie gets entangled with Hutch, the most scientifically good-looking man she's ever seen, but maybe a bit of a love hater, along with his colorful Aunt Rue and his rescue Great Dane, she gets trapped in a lie. Or two. Swim lessons, helicopter flights, conga lines, drinking contests, hurricanes, and stolen kisses ensue, along with chances to tell the truth, to face old fears, and to be truly brave at last. I mean, you had me with like drinking contests, scientifically good-looking men. I mean, it's your like classic Catherine Center.
I was going to say, you probably had just about everyone at Catherine Center.
I know.
And I love her covers. I
Oh,
think there's something about hers that do this is a romance with a, I don't even know what to call the style. I think like cartoon, but like the drawn style cover that hers do differently. I love that there's always layers and textures, like
yes.
the colors, and that this sets the tone of we're in a pool, but we've got the tropical. I'm into it.
I am too. And like with summer right around the corner, like it's
Hmm.
a perfect beach read. It's,
Yes,
just like happy go lucky kind of title that I'm really excited to read.
that's so perfect. Oh, well, I see your romance, and I will raise you a YA queer romance.
Do it, Joe.
Every once in a while, I gotta try it. I gotta dive in, and I'm two in now. I've got light romance at the top, and here we've got some more. So this is When Love Gives You Lemons by Stephen Salvatore. This will be out May 13th as well. Like I said, might be our hot pub date. But this is an exuberant YA romance from the critically acclaimed author of And Then They Lived. A budding social media influencer sets out to win back his first love at a family wedding in an Italian lemon grove. So setting already perfect. Ever since he was a kid, Fielder Lemon's large, opinionated Italian American family has lived next to Ricky DeLuca and his large, opinionated Italian American family. For almost as long, Fielder has known that he wants to marry Ricky one day. And he thought Ricky felt the same way until Ricky breaks up with Fielder, saying he needs to figure out who he is on his own. 1 year later, Fielder is asked to be one of the best men in his cousin's destination wedding on the Amalfi Coast in Italy. But there's a twist. His cousin is marrying Ricky's sister. Fielder hasn't talked to or seen Ricky once during the entire last terrible year, but he hasn't given up on his first love quite yet. And isn't a wedding in an Italian lemon grove on the perfect setting to rekindle their relationship? Except Ricky might have already moved on. Now, Fielder has less than a week to win back Ricky's heart while also trying to not ruin his cousin's wedding. But if there's one thing Fielder knows, it's that when life gives you lemons, take a bite.
Oh, I
I
love
know.
it. I'm rooting for Fielder. Come on,
I
get
know.
Ricky, get in the game.
It's so cute. That is When Love Gives You Lemons by Steven Salvatore, May 13th. But it's so cute. Like, come on.
I know, and, like, the Italian setting, like,
I
it's
love that
perfect.
that we're so into the Amalfi Coast now. There are there are like so many books that are let's take it to the Amalfi Coast, let's make this happen. But I feel like part of me loves YA romance, especially this like new adult age, like right in between YA and adult, because the stakes are like just a little lower. I think
Yes.
like for me, I have such a sensitive heart when it comes to love stories that when it gets too like when Emma and I recorded Joe Reads a Big Romance, my parameters were it can't be hard and heavy. Like it can't be, I set out I can't be crying. I can't be doing all this. I need to not have a very dramatic act 3 breakup where I'm like, I need to stop because I know they will get together, but I can't deal with this. Like, so I think that's why this YA range of romance is just perfect for me.
Joe,
The stakes are
I
there, but
but, like, it always ends up B, you know what I mean? And I'm the same way, like, you start playing with my emotions and I start to cry, like, I just have to stop. I just lay
right?
down, so I'm like, I need something light and happy, otherwise, like, I'll be crying for, like, 30 minutes, like, I don't wanna
Exactly.
do that.
Exactly. I can't have and like it's terrible as a person who almost exclusively it seems like reads horror to be like, oh, it can't be so emotional when that there's plenty of that in horror and thrillers and whatnot. But when it's romance, when it's like, oh, my heart is like flayed open right now, that's where I'm like, I draw the line. I'm putting it in a cage. Like, no.
Yes, and plus, like, as I am definitely not a new adult, I am on the older side, so
Same.
I so it's like you're reliving your youth through these stories, and you can just kind of relate to it, and it's just so
Yeah.
fun.
Well, and to that point, it gives me so much hope for the future because this is a queer
Yeah.
YA romance.
Yeah.
And so I look at this and I go, oh, little me needed this, but I'm glad there's a kid who doesn't have to need it because
Yes.
it's there. Or
Yes.
we just have to help them find it. Like that's, and there were like 3 you could think of like, that book is gay books at the time that I was a tween that
Yeah.
like, it's just so nice. So this does a lot of things for me in the sense of like hope and all that.
Absolutely. It's there and there's so many titles like this now
Yes.
too, and it's like
Yep.
and it's available, and it's just it's wonderful.
Oh,
I
so
love it.
happy. So good.
I love it. All right, so my next one is A Problematic Summer Romance by Allie Hazelwood. Again, I'm sorry, I can't help myself with these romances, just very formulaic with a little bit of spice. It's perfect, and it comes out on May 27th. Maya Kilgore is 23 and still in the process of figuring her life out. Again, a new adult romance. Connor Harkness is 38, and Maya cannot stop thinking about him. It's such a cliche. It almost makes her heart implode. Older man, younger woman, successful biotech guy, and struggling grad student. Brother's friend and a girl he never knew existed. As Connor loves to remind her, the power dynamic is too imbalanced, any relationship between them would be problematic in too many ways to count. And Maya should get over him. After all, he's made it clear that he wants her gone from his life. But not everything is as it seems, and cliches sometimes become plot twists. I mean,
I mean,
same old story here, Joe.
but I love it because my listeners deserve romance, and
They
I
do.
don't. I don't often deliver enough, and especially not like this. And it's like Allie Hazelwood does it. She
She
delivers.
does.
She
She
delivers
does.
every time. I mean, this one is it doesn't even have a cover out yet. Like I know we're recording the peek behind the curtain at the beginning of April, but this is coming out at the end. Like this episode will be out at the end of April, our typical spot, and we still don't even have a cover for this.
I
And
know.
you never know with her. I mean, when Deep End was in the beginning stages, there was a cover immediately. And so I'm like, what's this one gonna look like? How are they gonna sell this to me? But they're all good. And she runs the gamut of like, do you want a weird werewolf romance? Do you want I don't know, like now I'm just thinking of like the hands on the cover of Deep End. When that released, I was like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
spicy for her. Like
Yeah.
just from the jump, like she's letting you know, oh, this one's hot. Like,
Yeah. And I love how she always has like a at least with, like, Below Zero and Love
Mhm.
Theoretically, like, there's always that, like, school nerdy component to it,
Yes.
and, like, I love a nerd romance, right? Like, it just, like not that this is necessarily that, but, like, it just, like, makes my heart happy, and the older
Mhm.
guy, younger girl component of it, like, I'm like, "Okay, we all love an older guy, right? Like,
Yes, we do.
we gotta read this."
I also love that she's leaning into it so heavy-handed to be like, "Oh, problematics in the title. I'm
Yeah.
calling you all out for wanting this and reading it, but I'm also gonna deliver."
Yes. Yes, I love it. A forbidden romance, it's
She's real
perfect.
for that.
Yeah.
Well, my next pick, my last YA pick of the episode, this is from Julie Soto. You know her, you love her, and why not read some YA by her? This is The Thrashers, out May 6th. So, not a super long wait for this one. This is more in my vein of the suspense thriller end, but either you're in or you're out. Sounding like a dark Mean Girls from the cover to where we're at right now. Welcome to The Thrashers, the elite friend group at New Helvetia High. They're everything everyone wants to be. Jody Dillon was never meant to be one of them. Julian, Lucy, Paige, and the infamous Zach Thrasher are rich, sophisticated, and love attention. Jody feels out of place, but Zach's her best childhood friend, so she's in. Then Emily Mills, who desperately wanted to be a Thrasher, dies, and the whispers about the Thrashers begin. As Emily's journal surfaces, detectives close in, and Jody faces an impossible choice: betray her friends or protect herself. But as eerie messages and strange occurrences escalate, it becomes clear Emily isn't done with them yet. A twisty thrill ride of unforgettable drama and suspense that, quote from USA Today bestselling, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. This is perfectly timed because it's a quote from Allie Hazelwood uh, that
Yes.
encapsulates the vulnerability of adolescents playing adult games. Allie Hazelwood from USA Today bestselling author Julie Soto. The Thrashers will keep you up at night, desperate to read just one more page. So this is Julie's YA debut. So if you're already familiar with all of her brilliant writing, this is a great way to see how she's doing it. I love when we see like traditionally successful adult fiction authors pivot or add YA writing to their repertoire because I'm always excited to see how they blend their style with like either the age level or the level. Like there's so many nuances to what makes something YA versus adult. Like, so it's interesting to see. But that is The Thrashers by Julie Soto, out May 6th,
Love it. I cannot wait to read that one. It
right?
sounds like a page turner for sure.
That felt like where I would bring our lists together, where you'd be like,
Yes.
well, I'm going to read Julie Soto.
Yes. I'm like, okay, check, adding that one to the list. Next, I have One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. This comes out May 6th. Again, a short wait time here. Good things happen at the lake. That's what Alice's grandmother says, and it's true. Alice spent just one summer there at a cottage with Nan, and she was 17. It's where she took that photo, the one with three grinning teenagers in a yellow speedboat, the image that changed her life. Now, Alice lives behind a lens. As a photographer, she's most comfortable with the sidelines, letting other people shine. Lately, though, she's been itching for something more, and when Nan falls and breaks her hip, Alice comes up with a plan for them both. Another summer in that magical place, Barry's Bay. But as soon as they settle in, their peace is disrupted by the roar of a familiar yellow speedboat and the man driving it. Charlie Florek, the 19-year-old that Alice took his photo from afar. Now he's all grown up, a shameless flirt who manages to make Nan laugh and Alice long to be 17 again. When life was simpler, when taking photos was just for fun, sun-slanted days and warm nights on the lake with Charlie are the balm for Alice's soul. And when she looks up and sees his piercing green eyes directed at her, she begins to worry for her heart. Classic Carly Fortune, set on a lake setting, has that
Also feels
vacation.
classic Carly Fortune set on a lake.
Yes. Yeah, of course. I mean, every title, right?
Yep.
Just like that classic vacation vibe. And you know that vacation when you were a teen or a young
Yeah.
adult and you just had the time of your life, you met people. It just like brings you back to those days.
Yeah. I she was my first romance. So
Was
we
she?
did the lake one where lake is in
Yeah.
the title. I can't
Yeah.
even think of it now.
Meet me
But
at the lake.
Meet Me at the Lake, yes.
Yep.
Brilliant, beautiful. I love that all the covers are very like painterly, kind of look like a Norman Rockwell painting.
Yeah.
They're all, like, Canadian set. It's just very her, but that sounds so good. I love the same thing, the kind of, like, shy behind the scenes, I'm always behind the lens. This one moment changed my life, but now my life is changing again. It's like the second puberty almost or, like, the second coming of age moment for her.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I love it. That's such a good way to look at it too, the second coming of age.
Yeah.
And the Canadian setting is interesting, you know? I'm like, I have to
Yeah.
go to Toronto now. Like, I need to see the city.
Right, I feel like all of her books have made me go, "Okay, I need to go see this random small, like,
Yeah.
beachside town."
Totally, totally.
Okay, so I'm moving into the adult side of my list, and for right off the bat, I'm kicking it off with a weird one. A quote from Ava Reed, "The unhinged cannibal book of my dreams and my nightmares." So, the cover got me. It's like an unhinged weird horror, which I don't even know if it's 100% my vibe, but from this description, I need to try it. This is The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. This will be out May 20th. From the nationally best-selling author of The Luminous Dead and the Death of Jane Lawrence, a transfixing fever dream of medieval horror following three women in a besieged castle that descends ravenously into madness under the spell of mysterious godlike visitors. Amar Castle has been under siege for 6 months. Food is running low, and there has been no sign of rescue. But just as the survivors consider deliberately thinning their number, the castle's stores are replenished, the sick are healed, and divine figures of the Constant Lady and her saints have arrived, despite the barricaded gates offering succor in return for adoration. Soon, the entire castle is under the sway of their saviors, partaking in intoxicating feasts of a terrible origin. The war hero Sir Voyne gives her allegiance to the Constant Lady. Thiocene, a disorganized, paranoid nun turned sorceress, races to unravel the mystery of these new visitors and exonerate her experiments as their source. And in the bowels of the castle, a serving girl, Trelia, is torn between her thirst for a secret vengeance against Voyne and the desperate need to escape from the horrors that are unfolding within Amer's walls. As the castle descends into bacchanalian madness, forgetting the massed army beyond its walls in favor of hedonistic ecstasy, these three women are the only ones to still see their situation for what it is. But they are not immune from the temptations of the castle's new masters, or each other. And their shifting alliances and entangled paths bring violence to the surface. To save the castle and themselves will take a reimagining of who they are and a reorganization of the very world itself. So, again, that is The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. out May 20th.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that one. It's like
Right?
so different from my typical read, but it's like,
Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you have to like
yeah,
reset yourself.
yeah. And there's so many different elements to it. I cannot wait. That sounds awesome.
It also just like it's so strange. This one has
Yes.
been like I've had the list open and then I've had like a tab of like three other books that I couldn't decide between. And this morning I was like, this has to go in because it's why. And if I don't bring it up, I will feel robbed when I see someone else on TikTok talk about it. Like
Oh my gosh, yes.
it just like it's not even my typical read, but it feels in vein of things I like. And so I gotta know. I gotta know.
Yes. I got to know too. Love it. My next title is Big Dumb Eyes by Nate Bargatze. Okay, so this again, outside of what I normally read, just a comedian memoir. It comes out May 6th. In Big Dumb Eyes, Nate talks about life as a non-genius. From stories about his first car, named Old Blue, a clunky Mazda with a tennis ball for a stick shift, life as a Southerner in his first apartment where a rat chewed a hole through the wall, to how his wife keeps him in line, to so much more. He also reflects on Vandy football and the origins of sushi. How can a Philadelphia roll be from old time Japan? Nate's book is full of heart and will make readers laugh out loud, but it probably won't make them think too much. And I love the fact I don't have to think too much,
I
right?
love that
Like,
energy. Yes.
yeah, he's hilarious. He has a couple shows on Netflix, just his stand up.
Yeah.
He's just so relatable and talks about like real life things that happen to him, and he's hilarious. Like I cannot get enough of him. So definitely looking forward to this one.
It's another one where you and I intersect our love of like celebrity or like off the beaten track celebrity memoirs or books or writing. We were talking about Chelsea Handler the other day. Like all of this is just that like sometimes you need like you said, it's not your usual, but it is at the same time. Like it's a comfort niche that you don't typically go to, but you know you can fall back to it.
Totally. And I love a
Out
good laugh.
there.
Like if you can
Yes.
get me laughing while I'm reading, like perfect. It's perfect.
Well, my next pick is a magical realism pick, which is no surprise to the listeners that I love magical realism. But also, when you see the drag queen eye on the cover, it's again no shock that it's coming from me. This is Disco Witches of Fire Island by Blair Fell. How perfect. How perfect right off the bat. So this will be out May 6th. The New York Times quote on this is literally just the word heartfelt. So we'll take it. Hit the dance floor with a coven of queer witches on 1980s Fire Island in this gay fantasy romance about finding magic, love, and family in the face of tragedy. So buckle up. We're in the 80s in New York with a bunch of queer people. We know where this is going. This is a heartwarming LGBTQ plus novel for fans of steamy romance, loathe at first sight, and red, white, and royal blue. It's 1989, and Joe Agbian and his best friend Ronnie set out to spend their first summer working in the hedonistic gay paradise of Fire Island Pines. Joe is desperate to let loose and finally move beyond the heartbreak of having lost his boyfriend to the HIV/AIDS epidemic. The two friends are quickly taken in by a pair of quirky older house dancers, but something seems off, and Joe starts to suspect the two older men of being up to something otherworldly. In truth, Howie and Lenny are members of a secret disco witch coven tasked with protecting the island and young men like Joe from the relentless tragedies ravaging their community. The only problem is, having lost too many of their fellow witches to the epidemic, the coven's protective powers have been seriously damaged. Unaware of all the mystical shenanigans going on, Joe starts to fall for the super cute bisexual ferryman who just happens to have webbed feet and an unusual ability to hold his breath underwater. But Joe's longing to find love is tripped up by his own troublesome past, as well as the lure of a mysterious hunk he keeps seeing around the island. A man Howie and Lenny warn may be a harbinger of impending doom. The disco witches need to find help and fast if they're to save Joe and the island from great darkness. But how? Fans of spicy queer romances with a dash of fantasy will fall in love with this stunning novel of community, love, sex, magic, and hope in desperate times. So that is Disco Witches of Fire Island by Blair Fell, out May 6th.
I love it. And I
right?
love, like, the '80s setting. It's
Yes.
perfect. And, like,
Yeah.
like, it has all the right components to it.
It's just like I love all forms of magical realism. Sometimes you get the like really in depth, like some of the typical like of the source of magical realism where you're like, oh, this is taking me to a different place. And then you have like this kind of magical realism, which is our world a little bit to the left.
Yeah.
And I love that option. Take us back in time, take a tragedy, but also like see another layer to it or someone's interpretation and like processing of it. So very excited to pick this one up. And the paperback edition will have sprayed teal edges and foil on the cover. So
Oh,
if you love a special edition, be on the watch for the paperback version of that.
love that. Love the foil.
Yeah.
My next pick is The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers. This comes out May 6th. Nicole, Nick, Monroe is in a rut. At 24, she lives alone in a dinky apartment. She just gotten a DWI and she works for the same dead end job she's been working since high school. A job she only has because her boss is a family friend and feels sorry for her. Everyone's felt sorry for her for the last 7 years, since the day her older sister Casey vanished without a trace. And the night Casey went missing, her car was found over 100 miles from home. The driver's door was open and her purse was untouched in the seat next to her. The only real clue in her disappearance was Jules Connor, another young woman from the same area who disappeared the same way 2 weeks earlier. But with so little for the police to go on, both cases eventually went cold. Nick wants nothing more than to move on from her sister's disappearance and the state it's left her in. But then, one day, Jules' sister, Jenna Connor, walks into Nick's life and offers her something she hasn't felt in a long time: hope. What follows is gripping tale of two sisters who will do anything to find their missing halves, even if it means destroying everything they've ever known. I will devour this book.
Oh, 1,000%.
And the cover reminds me, have you read Karen Slaughter's, Pretty Girls? It
Yes.
reminds me
Yep.
of that
Yeah.
cover and just, like, the whole, like, scenario case of the title. I'm just really interested in it, and I like the sister component.
Yeah.
It just speaks to me.
Have you read Ashley's first book, All Good People Here?
Okay, no, I have not
Okay.
read any Ashley Flowers, and I'm like, I feel like there's a lot to discover there.
So she's a true crime podcaster, I believe, if I
Yes.
if I remember correctly. So she's a true crime podcaster and both All Good, I think it's All Good People Here. And then this one sound like they have a lot of like case inspiration that she's turned into some fiction. So I'll be excited to see what you have to say once you read this one and once you read the other one as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, like, you've got the books and then you got the podcast, and,
Yeah.
like, there is a wealth of
There's a
entertainment
lot
here.
there. There's a lot there for you.
Yes, I can't wait.
Well, my next pick, we're going to go into some lit mystery here. This is The Dark Maestro by Brendan Slocum, author of The Violin
Mhm.
Conspiracy. This will be out May 13th. His cello made him famous. His father made him a target. Curtis Wilson is a cello prodigy, growing up in Southeast DC projects with a drug dealer for a father. But through determination and talent and the loving support of his father's girlfriend Larissa, Curtis claws his way out of his challenging circumstances and rises to unimagined heights in the classical music world, even soloing with the New York Philharmonic. And then suddenly, his life disintegrates. His father, Zippy, turns state's evidence implicating his old bosses, now the family, Curtis included, must enter the witness protection program if they want to survive. This means Curtis must give up the very thing he loves most, sharing his extraordinary music with the world. When Zippy's bosses prove too elusive for law enforcement, Curtis, Zippy, and Larissa realize that their only chance of survival is to take on the criminals themselves. They must create new identities and draw on their unique talents, including Curtis's musical ability, to go after the people who want them dead. But will it be enough to save Curtis and his family? A propulsive and moving story about sacrifice, loyalty, and the indomitable human spirit, The Dark Maestro is Brendan Slocum at the height of his powers. So, again, that is The Dark Maestro by Brendan Slocum, out May 13th,
Love that. I
right?
mean, yes, and, like, giving up an instrument, oh, like, a
Giving
love
up
of your
your
life.
right, giving up your love, your talent, like, at no fault of your own. It's also that, like, I wanna see the resentment when it's like, "Well, you've already ruined my life so many times, now you're doing it again, but here I am trying to help you." And also that additional layer of just, like, how long has it been since we've got a witness protection story?
Yeah,
I feel like that was, like, the late '80s, '90s tea for the longest time, and then just like we stopped seeing spy movies, we stopped getting witness protection movies, so
totally.
I'm so excited to have this kind of, like, witness protection storyline.
Yes, I love it. I'm excited, and, like, also thriving under horrible conditions of
Yes.
unsupportive parents and, you love to see that winning story
Absolutely.
there.
Oh, yeah. There's everything inspirational, but then at the same time, just, like, gut punch after gut punch.
Totally. All right. So my next one is Run for the Hills by Kevin Wilson, out May 13th. Ever since her dad left them 20 years ago, it's been just Madeline Hill and her mom and on their farm in Coalfield, Tennessee. While it's a bit lonely and less exciting life than she'd imagined for herself, it's mostly okay. Mostly. Then one day, Reuben Hill pulls up in a PT Cruiser. I mean, gotta love the PT Cruiser, right, Joe? I mean, and informs Madeline that he believes she's his half sister. Reuben, left behind by their dad 30 years ago, has hired a detective to track down their father and a string of other half siblings. And he wants Mad to leave her home and join him for the craziest kind of road trip imaginable to find them all. As Mad and Rube, and eventually the others, share stories of their father who behaved so differently in each life he created, they began to question what he was looking for. Who are they to one another? What kind of man will they find? And how will these new relationships change Mad's previously solitary life on the farm? So cute.
So cute, and
I
again,
know.
like, I didn't wanna interrupt you, but gotta love a PT Cruiser.
You gotta love a
I mean,
PT Cruiser.
this cover is wild. I mean, I love it because like, everything about it has layers, and then when you look at it and you go, "Oh my god, someone in 2025 had to illustrate and paint a PT Cruiser for a book cover." I love that even more.
Oh my God. I
Like,
know. Me too.
I need this, like, blown up. I'd like it large on the screen. Like, just what on earth? And,
I
like, the
know.
chicken running in the back, like, just a giant PT Cruiser is hilarious. But this sounds beautiful. I mean, I love a good, like, literary fiction tale to take us through, and again, I'm stuck now on the PT Cruiser painted on the cover.
I know, it's hilarious. It, like, adds just a funny element to it.
Right.
And the cover, you're right, it is so engaging, like, it is the same animation type of your typical romance, but even though this is not a romance, but
Yeah.
it has that '70s vibe to it. I don't know,
It's
it's just
on trend,
different.
but it's also
Yes,
right, it's got that, like, modern nostalgia. It's got the layers.
it does, I love it.
So my next pick, I am gonna give a warning up at the top. This is a nonfiction story about sexual assault and murder, so rape and murder. If you don't want to listen to this, totally understand. Skip ahead. I don't know. Give me a couple minutes. So there should be some chapter things in the bottom. I don't know how that works with YouTube, but skip ahead a minute or two. But this is Karen, A Brother Remembers by Kelsey Grammer. This is out May 6th. So go ahead and skip on now if you would like to skip this. But this is Grammer's tender portrait of his sister as a sensitive, intelligent soul that goes a long way toward correcting the record, and his vacillation between rawness and composure on the page is enormously affecting. That is a quote from Publishers Weekly. So on July 1st, 1975, Kelsey Grammer's younger sister, 18-year-old Karen Grammer, was raped and murdered. In Karen, Kelsey reveals their past, celebrates their youth together, mourns her loss, and unearths his struggle for faith and healing in the decades since her death. Karen, by Kelsey Grammer, delves into this tragic story. She was brutally murdered at the age of 18 when Kelsey was just 20 years old. She was a recent high school graduate, moved to Colorado Springs when she was kidnapped by several men who intended to rob the Red Lobster where she worked. They instead kidnapped Karen, raped her, and ultimately stabbed her to death. Through this memoir, Grammer poignantly recounts the memories of his sister and the impact her loss had on his life and family. With raw honesty, Grammer explores the profound grief and devastation that followed her death, as well as the long and arduous journey toward healing. He bravely confronts the pain of losing a loved one to such senseless violence, offering readers a glimpse into the complexities of coping with such a loss. Karen also serves as a testament to Grammer's lifelong journey with grief and his struggle to defeat the sting of death with the memory of a life filled with joy, irreplaceable joy. In sharing his story, Grammer aims to help others who have experienced similar loss, offering solace and encouragement to cherish the love they knew, however brief, on their own path toward healing. This book is a moving tribute to Karen and a brother's love that survives her. So, again, that is Karen by Kelsey Grammer, out May 6th.
What a
I know.
what a story.
I
And
know.
and I had
I had no idea. I mean, I truly had no idea. Like it's not something I feel like I ever really heard about. Of course, my engagement with Kelsey Grammer is like I was watching Frasier as a kid. So, so like
yeah,
I get that that's very different. It's not the height of Cheers, and it's, like 2 decades past her murder, but I don't know. I appreciate this introspection, and as the description, because of course we haven't read any of these yet. As the description is telling me, this is him reflecting on grief over the years, and I think it's really moving when people, especially prominent figures, share how grief has impacted them, how they navigate it. And I hope this helps people who, like for me, I'm going to read this as someone who wants to be support for people, but also to experience how someone else is experiencing and processing their own grief. So I can do that with
yeah,
mine, even though I have nothing to relate to in this. Thankfully, it's just always nice to see another perspective and see someone's vulnerability and honesty. So it's always helpful to see that.
totally. And from the brothers take,
Hmm.
like, I just feel
Right,
like that's
and
also a
18
different.
and 20, like,
Yeah,
it's not like he was either too young to understand or older and further out in his career that while it was a tragedy, he felt more removed, like, the same age, basically.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that sounds like an interesting read for
Yes.
sure. I'm looking
Yes, a
forward to it.
hard read,
Hard.
but an interesting, a thoughtful one.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, a
Yes,
little
please
bit
pivot
of a
us to
lighter
something.
on a
Yes,
lighter note.
take us happy, Rachel, please.
Um, it's a love story by Annabelle Montague, on May 27th. It will be out, and love is a lie, laughter is the only truth. Jane Jackson spent her adolescence as poor Janie Jakes, the barbecue sauce in her braces punchline on America's fifth favorite sitcom. Now she's trying to be taken seriously as a Hollywood studio executive by embracing a new mantra: fake it till you make it. I mean, same girl, same.
Every day. Here and now.
Yes, right? Except she might have faked it a little too far. Desperate to get her first project greenlit and riled up by her pompous cinematographer and one time crush, Dan Finnegan, she claimed that she could get mega pop star Jack Quinlan to write a song for a movie. Jack may have been her first kiss and greatest source of shame, but she hasn't spoken to him in more than 20 years. Now, Jane must turn to the last man she'd ever want to owe, Dan Finnegan, because Jack is playing a festival in Dan's hometown and Dan has an in. A week in close quarters with Dan as she faces down her past in Jane's idea of hell. But he might just surprise her. While covering up her lie, can they find something true?
I love it. I
It's
love it.
silly.
It's silly, but and like the thing that comes to mind with like the first or second line you read was like, "Oh, this is the I fear I girl boss too close to the sun." I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I'm here for it, and I love that she's she's not trying to be taken seriously as an actor. She's trying to be an executive. She's trying to be in the studio. She's trying to be creating, and I love that it's not the like, "Oh, well, I was this famous TV kid and now I want to be seen as like a dramatic actress. Very, very into let's keep switching up the narrative.
Yes, I love it. Like, the focus is on the girl boss, the working woman, the strong, independent,
Yeah.
character, and, of course, she's got all of her crushes, but it's perfect.
I mean, don't we all?
I know,
Don't
right?
we all navigate 800 crushes a day? Maybe that's just me.
Maybe. I mean, I've been married for, like, 16 years, so,
Okay, that would do it. That would do it. I've been single for like 16 years, so
Yeah, that's why I love these romances. It's vicariously living through these characters that are, like,
there you
20.
go. Well, what a perfect one to end your list on. My last pick is another nonfiction. This is perfectly timed for Pride Month. It's beautiful from the cover alone. This is Marcia by Tourmaline. The Joy and Defiance of Marsha P. Johnson. If you are unaware of Marsha P. Johnson, pick this up. I won't give you the rundown because you should be aware of Marsha P. Johnson. The image used on the cover is one of the like most famous images of her, and it's one that brings me joy every time I see it. But the Black transgender luminary Tourmaline brings to life the first definitive biography of the revolutionary activist Marsha P. Johnson, one of the most important and remarkable figures in the LGBTQIA plus history, revealing her story, her impact, and her legacy. Thank God the revolution has begun, honey. Rumor has it that after Marsha P. Johnson threw the first brick in the 1969 Stonewall Uprising, she picked up a shard of broken mirror to fix her makeup. Marsha, a legendary Black transgender activist, embodied both the beauty and the struggle of the early gay rights movement. Her work sparked the progress we see today, yet there has never been a definitive record of her life until now. Written with sparkling prose, Tourmaline's richly researched biography, Marcia, finally brings this iconic figure to life in full color. We vividly meet Marcia as both an activist and artist. She performed with RuPaul and with the internationally renowned drag troupe The Hot Peaches. She was a muse to countless artists from Andy Warhol to the band Earth, Wind, and Fire, and she continues to inspire people today. Marcia didn't wait to be freed. She declared herself free and told the world to catch up. Her story promises to inspire readers to live as their most liberated, unruly, vibrant, and whole selves. So I couldn't not include Marcia by Tourmaline, out May 20th.
I love it. Catch
Yeah,
up,
it's
world.
beautiful.
Catch up.
Catch up. That's exactly like that line is so perfect. Be yourself. The world needs to catch up with us.
Yes. It gave me chills.
Me too. I know. I was sitting here like, who don't cry right now?
Yeah. I love
I mean,
it.
honestly, it truly is a coin flip every time I see that photo of Marsha P. Johnson if I am going to make it without crying or not, because it's like it's pure happiness, it's beauty, it's just like, this is where it starts and this is where it continues from. Like this is the source, this is the wellspring.
Yes. Yes. I will definitely be picking this one up for sure.
I feel like it will be a good resource for anyone and everyone, whether you already know the story, whether you're well in deep with the LGBTQIA plus community or not. I feel like
Right.
this is going to be for all of us.
Yes. Love it.
So now, if you'll indulge me, Rachel, I have my shout outs section, a new thing for me. But, as I was saying at the beginning, May leads into June, and that means there are so many amazing queer YA books that I want to put on my list. But since I don't want to keep you all here for 4 hours reading, a version of the same thing over and over, here are some quick shout outs. The titles will be in the episode description and in the YouTube, whatever. I'm still learning all my words, but all in the show notes and all that on your podcast platform, video description, and YouTube. So most of these are queer YA, and then I have a few other books that I could not pass up. So there are two not queer books in here, and then everything else. So first off, we have Murderland by Carolyn Greenwald, then Everyone Sucks But You by Kay Roten. Who doesn't love a graphic novel? I know I do, and a queer graphic novel, even better. Then there's And They Were Roommates by Paige Powers. I've been waiting for this one for ages. It's like the perfect. Rachel, I think you'll love this one. This is you're nodding because you already
Yes.
know
I
this
was
one.
like,
Okay, you've been
yeah,
waiting for this one.
I debated adding this to my list, and I should have. We are
You could
totally
have.
on the same page.
I feel like they started promoting this last year, and I'm like, oh, this isn't out yet. I've been dying to read this. If you want a great graphic novel releasing 5/13 to pair with Marcia, There is Trans History by Alex L. Combs and Andrew Eckett. I think those would go well together. Then, of course, Shampoo Unicorn by Sawyer Lovett. This looks beautiful. Small Town Story. Then there is The Rebel's Guide to Pride by Matthew Hubbard. If you recall, I believe, why can't I think of what Matthew's other book was? It's the Ex's Guide or something like that. It was great. Can't wait for his next book. And then my last two books that my list could only be so long. Books that just look great to me in general. There's The Busybody Book Club by Freya Sampson. This is everything I want it to be. It's a lit mystery, so perfect. Why not? Who doesn't love that? And then The Manor of Dreams by Christina Lee. This is that kind of like lit fiction, lit romance, but also a bit of like horror. It's a true modern classic. It's a beautiful, eerie, and woven enough with enough intrigue to hold all who enter captive. That's part of a quote from Chloe Gong. So, just so many great books coming out.
So
Let
many.
your list go wild.
And the Manor of Dreams, that cover is beautiful. The red and the blue. Oh,
Uh
I love
huh.
it.
Like I said, I was having trouble killing my darlings today. Like I could not narrow. So enjoy the shout outs. I know I rapid fired through them. Again, they're linked everywhere. If you are one of our friends who wants to borrow this from the library, you can click right through to Libby and add it to your TBR. And if you are one of our librarian friends, there is also a link in the episode description if you want to add these to your library collection through Overdrive Marketplace. Okay, I think we did it. Rachel, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I have a full TBR list now.
Yay.
So many good titles. And Joe, you're inspiring me to like branch out from my typical read. So there are so many good picks here.
That's all I could ever hope for. I will say it here for everyone, like find the intersection. Find the thing that keeps you in your comfort zone but pushes you a little bit out of it. Like find if you don't read horror but you want to try it, find the one that has the romance drive. Like it's a horror story that she's getting through it with her partner or find the graphic novel that pairs with a favorite classic of yours or any of those things. Push yourself a little bit, don't go too hard because then you can build up your taste for it or find your own flow. Everything has a subgenre.
Yes. Oh, that's such good advice. Like, I don't have to dive headfirst into
Nope.
horror. Like, to
Right.
me, that's like the most terrifying thing ever, right? Like,
Yeah.
time is precious. I can't. So just
There are too many books to read. I don't want
right.
to waste it on one I can't get through. So
Yeah.
so find your way in and remember we all have different tastes. I mean, I try to to bring something for everyone, but that's also why I have amazing guests like Rachel to pick up where I leave off.
I love it, Joe. Such wise words.
Every once in a while inspiration strikes. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. Make sure you do all of the things I said at the beginning, like, comment, subscribe, 5-star review on iTunes and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow us on social media at ProBookNerds on Instagram, at Libby.app on Instagram. I think that's all of the CTAs I need to throw out there. Thank you all so much for joining us today. And as always, happy reading. Readers can sample and borrow the titles mentioned in today's episode in the Libby app. Our library friends can purchase those titles in Marketplace. Professional Book Nerds is proud to be an Evergreen Podcast signature program. To learn about other Evergreen podcasts, visit evergreenpodcasts.com. Our podcast is produced and recorded by me, Joe Skelly, and edited by Joe Skelly and Andrew Alonso. The podcast is presented by Overdrive. To learn more, visit professionalbooknerds.com. Happy reading!